Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's episode, we are going to tackle another book nook, and this one is from Dolphin Island. It's called the Magicspell Library. So this was a request from one of my followers to do, and after looking at it, this is definitely going to be a little different, a little unique, and should be interesting. So somebody's up wanting to help us showcase everything as always. So go start with the boards, and there's actually not too many pieces to this, but there are a ton of books. So as you see here, books, books, books. So there are a ton of books, and I mean, luckily they at least made those printed. So, but yeah, so this is it. I mean, not too many pieces, a lot of large pieces, and it's that way for a specific reason, which I'll kind of get to in a second. Here's the stickers for all the books, and yeah, a lot. So, and then here's all the electronic parts and mirrors and stuff. So what this is, doesn't have lights, maybe some lights, but this is a motion sensor and voice activated with the book nook with the lights and some sounds. It comes with a wand, which I'll show you. Comes with a wand there. Use the wand to kind of cast some spells, and if you move it to the side of this right here, it's like a motion sensor that if it senses it, then the lights will come on, some music or sounds will start playing and everything, and you can do it again to turn it off and whatnot. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I'm kind of scared with all the electronic parts that are in it and everything, and so it's yeah. I mean, but I always say I like a challenge. So the instructions aren't too bad. I mean, they're black and white, but it looks like they kind of go over everything pretty well. And so yeah, I mean, just like to try it out, just see what happens with it. It's kind of cool, like I said, something different. So, please like, share, subscribe, leave comments, hit that notification bell, and definitely get back to you. And with that, we will get started. So we're starting our Magicspell library. And so the first step they want you to do, well, first of all, I went ahead and built the books. Like I always do. And they give you one of your sheets, it says attached to I-8 and J12, the blocks that goes under the books. And these are the bigger ones. And then your other sheet says these are for A2 and B2. So these are the bigger ones. So these are the smaller ones, and these are the bigger ones. The smaller ones, they gave you extra boards, but the bigger ones, they gave you extra stickers. So, but this is the same concept. But what I did was I just kind of placed it right on the edge of the sticker, and then just folded the paper right on the side, and then just folded it over to make it match. This doesn't fit right because it's not the right size, but that's pretty much the concept of making all your books. And so far, but I went ahead and did those. They don't ask you to do that until later in the step, but I just went ahead and did it because I knew it would take a while. So the next step is your doors. They want you to put your hinges, the handle on, and the door studs on. So you should have one bag that has all those pieces in it, and each one has its own individual bag for everything, but I would just say just be careful because they're small parts. And then they actually give you a little screwdriver to use to put everything on. So the first thing I did, and of course I went ahead and just did what I could just to speed it up, but put the door hinge on first. And you just want to kind of line it up the best you can to make sure all the holes are centered. And then what I did was I used my finger and kind of held it in place and then placed the screw right over the hole, and then just used the screwdriver just to start it. I didn't take it down all the way, but I just got it to where it would start. And then just always did like one side at a time. And then, now you can't see, but just kind of screwed that down. And then, because this is still, you can still move this around to line the other side up. And you want to make sure the door is all the way, your F7 here. You want to make sure your A3 and B3 doors are right up against the edge right here. And then once they're all in, then go ahead and just screw the rest of them all the way down until the screws are flush. So, and then the door should open like so. So you got that in. Okay, and then the next thing, they want you to do like a door at a time, but I mean, it doesn't really matter how you do it. So for the studs, you have a long piece, and then you have the short piece. Oops, put it here. You have the long piece and the short piece. So the long piece goes on the inside. That just kind of goes into the holes here. Yeah, get in there. And then what you can do is, I'm just going to use this again. Get something flat to put up against the backs of it, go all the way to the other side, and you can either pull whatever you have holding it out, or you can just leave it there. Because these, the smaller connectors, it doesn't really take too much to push them in. But you just push it right on top, and then stay. Push it right on top, and then just push down. It just snaps right on. Don't need pliers. You don't really need anything to snap them in. They go on real easy. So, and then when you're done, you can take this out. Or if you got a flat surface, if you can close the door with the taller pieces, staying where they are, then that's good too. Okay, so now you get your handle. And this is another screw that you place in. And then I just start it on the other side. Start it till it gets a little tight to where you want the handle to be straight up and down. And then at that point, I go ahead and just use a screwdriver and tighten it on the other side. And there you go. So there's your doors. They open like that. So not too bad. So it looks like we're going right into building things for the electronics. And it talked about at the beginning to kind of test it out, but I was being lazy. I didn't really want to do that. So hopefully it works when we put it all together and everything. So I got all these pieces out right here. This is the box that we're going to be using for the LCD screen. So we'll see how this goes. Some parts has detailed size and flat size and wire placement, little templates. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to start with your non-decorative side. Place into your left. And then you want to grab your, so this is E24. Grab your E2, or no, sorry. Let's grab your H10 non-decorative side. If you notice, 3 of the pegs are the same size and one's a little bigger. So you want the bigger one to be on the left. Okay. So with your bigger one here, you want to put this in top, and the other tab goes right there. Connects right there. Push it down. There we go. H11, you want this to be facing up, and going right here. Grab your H10, and then this will slide through and go into the hole. You see the 2 blue arrows, so you want to make sure those connect. And then it'll connect down here at the bottom. So when you get that in, you get your E23 decorative side facing in, and you want your 2 red arrows right here to connect and pretty much put everything the way it looks like on the other side. Okay. Grab your E22, it goes onto the back here. Okay. And then you'll grab your E8, the non-decorative side, and it actually tells you this side down. It goes, yeah, right here. Then you have your E9, actually says this side up with the arrows pointing to the side to the left. So definitely making it user-friendly. Okay, so okay. So there's that, and now they want you to get your LCD screen, which there's all your wiring. Your LCD screen is right here. So they want it to be, so you're pretty much going to have to remove it before you put it in. Don't really want to, but hopefully you have to be careful with it. Not bump it or damage it too much, but you want all the electronic stuff on the back is what you want to see. You got your E16, which is going to go right like this. Okay. And then you have your E17, and then that'll go over here. We'll say the tabs are going in pretty good. There we go. Okay, so that's being held in, and then you get your E14, which looks like this. And then it'll go right on top. Okay, and then your E15 onto the bottom. Okay. Put that back in there. Okay, so here's how the back of your monitor should look. You got it encapsulated right here. The wire's coming through the hole, just like that. Going through the hole up here, and just like this wire, the template shows. So it looks like you're going to have another wire kind of coming down here. And then that's how the front of it will look with the screen. And I would be very careful touching this. So we have, oh, okay, so E19 go like this. And then E18 will go down like this. You go through the 20 and then also connect. Make sure you don't push on this. Should just go right into that. Okay. Then on the sides here, or on the bottom, you're going to grab your E13. It's going to go into the back right here. You line it up if you need to get some pliers to push it down. Whatever works. Okay. And then 11 and 12, you need to put onto your E, or your 10 and 11, you need to put on your 12, because it won't, there's a bar in the way that'll prevent you from putting it on. So your 10 and 11, put in your 12 first, and then go ahead and angle it in, and it'll fit right underneath it. And then just push it down. And your opening should be facing out. Okay, there you go. So that's how that should look. First, you want to grab, the wires should be split. The one in the middle was your LCD screen that you put. The two wires to the left of it, these will also be inserted into the hole right here, and will eventually kind of come down here to the bottom. And these other three will just be kind of off here to the right. Just kind of move them out of the way for now. Okay, I'm going to put these in the end here first. You may have to move the wires around a little bit to get this to go in, and then pull this back a little, and then it should pop right in to kind of have everything lock in place. And then the three wires should be coming out the side right here. And then these other two wires should be in the opening like this, coming down. Circuit board, the white piece here, you want to pick the side that has the less electronics, because if you flip it over, you can see a bunch of the fewer components, or you see the majority of components. You want it facing to the back. And the one with the side with fewer components, you want it facing the front, and you get that little hook right there. You just slide it down into that, and then just have it, just kind of have it sitting. Just kind of have it sitting like that. And then now, for your speaker, you want to get your J3, which looks like the arrows are supposed to be pointing that way. Then grab a J8. Make sure the curved side's facing the back, or the arrows going back. Push that in. And then grab your speaker and make sure that you are very careful with this. And then have the outside of it facing you. On the other side, make sure the curved spot is facing the same direction. Okay, that should lock in the speaker. And then your J4 should lock in right on top here. Just kind of get it straight. Okay, so that's how your speaker should look for now. So this is how this all should look. You've got your circuit board up here at the top. You got your two wires coming down. You just got the speaker hooked into your little box. Circuit board is over here on the right or left, and your other three wires are just kind of coming through the bottom part right here for now. And that all the pieces out for this next step. So you want to grab your B1, which that's what it looks like on the front side. So you want to flip it around to where you see the template for the wires. And this is where our box is going to go onto. So you want to, so you have your tab here, and I believe this tab, these two tabs here, and this one is going to go into all of these right here. Okay. That's in, and okay. Oh, that's where those wires. Okay. wires were supposed to go around to the side right here. I had them coming around the other way. So there's enough gap that you can put these. Okay. And then there we go. And now let's put this back in. Okay, there we go. So the wires are supposed to go into the back here. I had them going in through this little opening here because I wasn't for sure. But that's why these are curved. So the wires can go in just to the other side of that. For your speaker, you want to grab the F3 and you want to make sure, yeah, it says this side up. Arrow's going that way. So you want to put your E4. Put your E4 down here, and then your speaker facing forward, you want to put down here. I'm just making sure the arrows are going the same direction as the board. And then once you have that done, then they go down here at the bottom. So that's how that should look. You just have to adjust this however you want to get it to stay or whatever, but I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. F2, just like this. And you get the decorative side, and then you'll get your H4, which is the little accordion part. Place it sideways. I don't think it really matters which way. I don't think it matters which way you put it. The glue's kind of in the way, but I think I can still. Just be careful with this, because it is, as they say, it's fragile with the accordion part. Okay. So we have that one. So we got the switch in. And then you'll grab your F2, decorative side up, and you want to place it on top of here, carefully. Okay. Just kind of leave it alone for now. Oh no, okay. So now you want to kind of move your wires out of the way. And you want to place this, actually, you know what? Let's make sure your wires are on the inside of the toggle switch, just so they're not trapped underneath. Right here. Just like we did underneath. Oh. That's why it wouldn't go in. Okay. Just be careful with it. You got your one tab right here you got to push in. The rest of it's kind of open, which I forgot to. Down here at the bottom, I forgot. You have your E5, 6, and 7. This is your 5. I'll go into the. And then you get your. And you get your 6. And then you get your 7. Okay, so when you get your 5, 6, 7 out here, there's a little opening right here at the bottom. That's where it locks into. And when you turn it, it opens up to be able to access the battery pack or whatever else that you can access here and everything. So with the long board with the 6 lights, you want it to pass through the hole up here at the top. And then the one with the two lights, you want it to pass through this hole down here at the bottom. All right, yep. So your LEDs will be kind of sticking out. A little connector, E3 that you can put up here, I guess, but I don't think you really need it. The wires ain't going anywhere. But okay, once you get the wires out of the way to be able to put that in, you can put it in. I just don't think it's needed because, like I said, these wires aren't going anywhere. But you want to grab your D1, which should have that on the front. It's got the little accordion all the way around. And you want to grab your H6 and put this right here on the side. And then wrap this around and then connect it on the other side. There we go. Okay. So that's what it should look like. Hopefully nothing breaks. And then this is going to be the fun part, which is putting them into the tops up here. Just wrap them around. Make sure you just kind of get them around the tabs first before you start pushing anything. And down here at the bottom. There we go. Okay. So that's what it should look on the side. You also want to grab your C1, which is the cover. The Bookcase. This is going to go right here. And it says before you do that, grab the C cable, the USB-C cable. You want to grab it and get the C connector, and you want to plug it in on your board, your circuit board. Make sure it's plugged in, and then where does it go? Okay, I think it's just they just want you to plug it in there for now, and then just have the rest of the cord just kind of hang loose down at the bottom. So I think we're going to be hooking some stuff down here at the bottom and everything. So I have the C cable hooked up there, and then grab this, and pretty much line everything up as best you can, and just push where the tabs are. Press there, because you don't want to press here because there's nothing there. So I'm going to turn it over. Press there. Press there. All right. And the bottom part went out a lot easier than I thought. Just okay. Front. All right. So you should have your two lights coming out the back. I still have my protective film over my LED. Your book with all the electronics in it. And again, you can turn this and open this up and access, whatever you need access to in there. Next step is putting some books and some bookshelves on the back of our ebook, which is what I'm going to call it, our book with all of our electronic stuff in it. So the first thing First thing you want to do is grab your G49, and it's going to go right here. These two holes need to line up with these two holes here. And then you have your G51, which is going to go right on top of it. Try to line it up as best you can. And then the hard part is you got your G47, and you're going to be inserting this into the hole. And there may be some pieces that might be a little off here and there, or if you want to glue it down, it doesn't really say to glue it down, but it's up to you on whether you want to or not. I don't think it really matters. So now it has your printed books that are on the boards, and it talks about pumping out G1 to 23 and you want to keep them in the order that they are on the board here. And if you look, like each row is a row on the bookshelf. So if you pop them out and line them up exactly how they are here on the mat or whatever your surface is, just pop them out and keep them in this order, because each one of these is a row. And it's going to look exactly like that. You can kind of see it in the instructions. So now, once you have these out, then you want to grab your books, and then just, if you want, you can place them in here just to see how they'll fit, but you want to glue them to the back of the boards. And they're not going to fit exactly, wall to wall, but you just want to just put them, center them in the middle as best you can. And then if you want to place them in there first to see how they look, or if you just want to go ahead and just throw some glue in here and just pop them in there and move them around, that's up to you. Okay, tweezers. And place them in here. So it's definitely going to be a slow process doing this because there's a lot of books. But again, you just want to make sure everything is where they're supposed to be. Let's get that over, and then and again, make sure it's all the way down. The books are, all the way down on the bottom shelf. And then, whoops. This one kind of shows like it's leaning. So just want to make sure that those are centered. And then these are leaning right like that. Okay. I mean, it's not really centered, but I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I can move everything over just a tad bit. Yeah. Okay. So, yep. So that's what you do for each shelf. You just go down and just, glue them in and get them to fit. So we got all of our books in. Just kind of showing you what they look like. So, but that is what they look like. And just make sure, they're just, the same space on either side, and they're pretty much about the same all the way down. And then when you get all the books in, then you get your F8, which is a little window frame, and then you just glue it in over the window here, and just center it, just to, with the outline that's there and everything. So, okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing for the books on our A1 board. It's going to be the exact same thing, exact same order. So I'm not going to film that because, again, it's just the exact same thing for what we just did. But I will show you what it looks like when I get done with it. So our next steps, we're actually going to be building 4 shelves or 4 bookcases, and they're going to be built exactly the same, and 2 are going to be for like the first floor and 2 are going to be for the second floor. So I'm just going to do one set to show you how to put it together, and then just record the other one And before that, so this is our A1 wall with the books. And again, they went in exactly the same as the previous set of books. I mean, exactly same order and everything like that. So, so you just put the bookcases in and then just align the books, exactly how the other ones were. So it was exactly the same. So, but that was that. Okay, so now, okay, so we're going to grab our I9. I kind of have everything kind of spread out a little bit. So I9, and make sure. Okay, I9, then you have all your shells that'll pop in here. And I think all the shells are exactly the same. I don't think there's any differences between them, even though they're all like different numbers. And you can always put it on a flat surface and kind of push it down and make sure it's all good. Okay. So now you want to grab, so now for the bottom part, you want to grab your C6, which is like this, your D5, which goes in like so, and then your C7, which goes on the bottom. And then this is placed onto the bottom part here. Definitely have to probably push it on something to get it to fit. All right. So you should have it like that. And now it's going to be kind of the hard part. So you have your I10. So your I10, which you want the detailed side facing in. And you got to line up everything. Like 20 different things. To make sure that everything is lined up in a hole first. And then, okay. Thought it was going to be more difficult than that, but it actually went in pretty easy. Okay, and then you want to grab your C8, which is this, which some pieces are detailed on both sides and some are not, so make sure I have it the right way. And then this is just placed on here. Okay. Okay, so you have, that's one shelf. So now we're going to do another shelf. That's going to be exactly the same. We have our two shelves here. You're going to grab your D8. And looks like this is going to go, the hole here is going to go to right here. And this is going to lock in right here. Feels pretty good. And then do the opposite side. Okay. No need to glue down because I think we're going to be inserting that. And then you want to grab your I11. And it looks like it's going to go over here, which these look like they're equidistant, so I don't think it matters. Yeah, doesn't really matter how you put this on. And then do the same for the other side. So you have that, and then you're going to grab your F1 and pretty much insert it in all the holes on the bottom if you can line everything up. So you have everything in. It's kind of hard to push in, try to line everything up. And then once you're done with that, then you glue this on over the entryway. So I'm just going to place this down here, kind of drop it, and just line it up right on the edge. Make sure it's flush. Just move it over if I need to. Okay. And then just do the same for the bottom. Okay. So this one is your first floor bookshelves, and eventually we'll be putting our individual books and scrolls in here. So, but I'll go ahead and build the second level bookshelf, which is going to be exactly the same, but the floor is going to be a little different. We got our first floor cabinets completed, and we got our second floor cabinets completed, and the only difference is the floors for each one, but they're built exactly the same. Yeah, so they're built exactly the same. So now what they want you to do is to fill both of these with all of your small books, your big books, and the scrolls, which I'll go over here in a second. And they just pretty much tell you, put them in however you want. You know, from all the shelves, just use your books. It don't matter if you want to use all the big ones, all the small ones, mix match, whatever. So you just do whatever you want. So I'll just kind of throw some stuff in there, and then I'll show you. I'll show you what I did. But so there's really no set template. They give you kind of something in the instructions if you want to follow that, but I may just just kind of throw some stuff in there, and I'm not really worried about it. But I think they pretty much gave you way too many books that's going to go into here, so you're definitely going to have some extras. They don't really say how many you need, but they give you 2, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. They give you enough to do 24 scrolls, which I don't think I'm going to use that many of them. But I'll probably use about half of them. But I wanted to show you, which I've done in other videos, but just in case if you haven't watched those, please watch those. Show you how I make the scrolls, because since they're stickers, it's a little harder to kind of roll them together if they weren't stickers. So what I do is I use a toothpick, and what I do is, because it's almost like the perfect diameter of like a small scroll, and so what I do is I just level the sticker on the toothpick, and then I just start rolling it, making sure it lines up with itself, and then just keep an eye on it as you're rolling it down to make sure it stays somewhat straight. It's okay if it's off just by a little bit, but you just kind of keep rolling it until you get all the way to the end, which it's off by a little bit. Hang on. It's off by a little. There we go. And then you just roll it in. Just kind of seal the end of it, and then you have that. And then what you do is you get your craft knife, and then you cut off the end of the toothpick. And then if it doesn't cut, just kind of roll it over and cut the other side off. And then you can use your sand paper to kind of smooth out the ends if there's any edges sticking out or whatever. But, just to make it smooth and flat. And then there you go. There's your scroll. And it's perfect because it won't crush, because it's got the toothpick inside of it to keep it solid. And then that way you can just place it wherever you want without worrying about anything getting crushed or smashed or whatever. So we got our books and scrolls entered on our bookshelf. So I'm just going to show you what they look like. I'll just show you both of them at the same time. So this is what I did for mine. I just kind of angled them, just kind of put them this way, that way, put the scroll somewhere. So again, you can do yours however you want to do. and you definitely have tons of extras left over. I don't know, why they didn't just tell you like a certain number of books to do instead of doing all of them, because there's at least 20 or 30, books of each size left over, to do whatever. But it is what it is. But so this is what I did. And again, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. Just however you want to put the books and the scrolls in the shelves, it's totally up to you on how you want to do it. Now we're going to get our H7 and our H8. Let me put in this in, and then grab an R. H9, non-decorative side. Okay, so kind of looking like that. And then you want to grab your a D4, and then you want to place this right. So you have a decorative side and a non-decorative side. If you try to use the decorative side and put these boards in, it doesn't line up at all. I mean, not even close. So flipping it over, and it doesn't specify which side should be facing up. I mean, you just have the wording, which is the only thing I'm using to show that that should be the side that you're, facing up. But then when you put the boards in, it actually does line up. So, and I'm guessing that other pieces are going to be entered that is going to hide all of the non-decorative pieces around or sides over here. And maybe since this is the landing that's going to go right here, that you're going to see more of the underneath than the top part. So, but it fits. So just use the non-decorative for your top piece. And then you want to grab your D7, and you want to grab your book over here, and you want to grab your light, your LEDs that only have the 2 LEDs on it, the smaller one, and you want to turn it upside down and place it just like that, so the LEDs are going to be shining through the holes pretty much. And then just kind of level it out, and then put this in. Just press it where it won't go down anymore. Grab your bottom bookcase and try to hook it up. It's going to connect on the 4 holes in the back. Okay, actually went in pretty good. And of course you're limited because the wire for the LED is still attached to your e-box. Okay, so then you want to grab your upper section, and here in the front, there's 2 holes here that this will go into, and 2 on the sides here. So I'm going to try to get those in there, and then okay, and okay. Oh, that actually went in way too easy, which there's nothing wrong with that, but okay. We are getting our H5 and H1, and it kind of, here's your H1, here's your H5, and it kind of talks about, or at least it shows, the H5 going in first, but I'm actually going to do the H1 because this is going to be like in the back, and then this is going to be kind of right in the front of it. And since you have to angle this in and then push the holes onto these tabs, it's just going to be a lot easier without this on the front of it to push this down into. Okay, and that just broke. All right, that's all right. Okay, and then line these up, push it from the back. Okay, so I'm not worried about this piece breaking, and it's not going anywhere. More toward the top than the sides, but I'm just putting it throughout. Okay, and then And then just pushing this down, trying to be careful not to break nothing. So you just got to be careful. Just push from the bottom here. I wouldn't push from the top to try to get the feet in or the tabs in, and then it should line up, and then just kind of press the glue together. Push the two sides together. Now kind of moved everything to the side because we're actually going to start putting things together. Trying to raise everything up. And of course somebody's in the way on my instructions. Here, you gotta move. You gotta move. Okay, so first off, I'm a complete idiot, and I forgot to put the railing on before putting these H1 and H5s on. So you have the 3 railings right here in the back, and one for each side. So you need to put those in first or second. It actually really don't matter. It just makes it easier without these front walls on, but you just place the back one in first, and then just place in the side, and it hooks onto the top, and then put this one in, and then just hook it in, to the top up there, and then just push them down all the way as you can, as far as you can. But yeah, I just completely forgot to put these railings in onto this front part and everything. So, okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to insert this. You got holes, and holes, and it'll go with these tabs here. Yeah, it'll go in kind of like that. And then if you want, you can always open this up. That way you've got something to push against. And it may not be straight when you line up everything, so you just kind of have to line everything in and hope that this fits in where it should. Okay, so there's a hole right here for this to go down into. Just nice. So it actually just locks in from here and here, and it should go over the 2 pegs, or the 2 tabs right here, and then you got the 1 tab right there. Or J5, which has got the holes in it right here, and then you want to grab your door, and E1, and then you want to put them in accordingly. I'll definitely put the E5 in first, just like we did on the, make sure the pointy end is facing up. And I would definitely put the E1 in first. Okay. 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 So now we're going to throw the doors in. And these should actually, yeah, okay, so it slides in real easy. So it's definitely worth putting the glue on there for it to hold. While that's drying, you want to grab a J6, which is another pyramid or triangle, and you want to put it down here on the base. Okay, and then with the doors, the tab here on this triangle is going to go down here, and then the tab up here, or these 2 tabs, are going to go into right up here. Okay. your A1 wall that just has the books on it, and then you want to grab a J2 and then put it right here. So you got your J2 right there, and then this is going to connect all over the place, probably here, here, down here, down here, probably these two. Yep. So you just got to pretty much find a hole and just get it started. Just get everything started, and then just push down where the tab is. That way you know it's going down and you're not pushing on anything that really don't need to be pushing on. All right, so there's your bottom. Oh, so you should have your side, you got your front, that's your bottom, how it should look. And then now we're going to put our J1, like there's an arrow on it. It's pretty much pointing to the front. So just get it started on the there we go. May not be perfect, but again, just kind of giving you a flat surface. Okay, so that's how that should look. Got your doors open. Okay. Whew. And then you have your I1, which is your back wall. That's going to go onto here. So again, just going to kind of initially start with this on its, putting this on the front. Make sure this is on the outside, and then this is going. So I got this back on. I would just watch it on the sides, because a couple of these didn't fit in as well, so the ends kind of popped up a little, which I'm not too worried about, but it just doesn't make it as tight. There's your back, but again, you just got the little top pieces that just didn't fit in for whatever reason on this side, so just may have to watch it as you're putting it in. This side wasn't as bad, but there were still a couple pieces, so just kind of be careful with that. So the next fun part of this, as you can see, is we are going to be building a couple chandeliers with these stones inside of them. But to do that, we got to create these chains, cut them certain lengths, and attach them to the bases. And we have the bigger rings, that the chains will link to and everything. So it asks, and it gives you this really long chain that's probably 3 foot long. So it probably is a little too much, but is what it is. But it asked you to cut 6 smaller lengths of 4 centimeters. And it says, you can vary between like 3.8 and 4.2, whatever. But don't really have a centimeter ruler. So just kind of Googled it, and 4 centimeters is about like 1.5 inches. So in each one of these lines, or each second line, like from here, is an inch. So that's an inch, that's an inch. So at least the 1.5 is 4 centimeters. So what I did initially was I just did 1.5 inches, and then I just cut it at the right point. And then once I got that first one done, I counted the rings that was on it. And then after that, I didn't really use the measurement. I actually counted the rings on the longer string and then just cut it at that point to ensure that all of them were the exact same length, because that's really the only way you're going to know if they're all the same length. Because if it's not, if you have one that's not the same length, and when you put it on this base, it's going to tilt. It's going to tilt one way or the other for the length for the string that's not the same as the other two. So that's why they want you to make sure that all of these are the exact same length. And this is kind of the easiest way for me. I mean, I know it's a pain in the butt, but and you got to have some good, microscopic lenses to get down into it or whatever. But I still have it laid out, and you always want to make sure that it's laid out flat and there's no twisting into it. And for me, it was like 24 links. That's how many that there are in these smaller ones. So when I laid it out, I just counted out down to 24 and then cut the 25th one. Fifth one is right. There we go. And then I'm going to lay it out, and then I'm going to just verify that it is the same length, which looks like it is. And then the rest of the chain, it says, to measure it in half and then cut it to have two equal lengths. But I wouldn't even touch it yet until you finish this part, because say just something happens that one of the links or one of the strings just happens to mess up or break or whatever, then you don't want to, you want to have that option to be able to cut another one off of this and not mess up the two longer pieces. So I wouldn't cut that just yet. I would work on this first, get these done, and then worry about cutting the longer strands. I got the first chandelier done, which doesn't look too bad, which I'll show you here. I got it kind of hanging right now because I figured that was the best way to keep everything straight and not get it twisted up and everything. So I got it hanging off the bigger chain, off the book nook and everything. So I'm gonna try to do the best I can, and hopefully my hands don't get in the way too much. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize if they do. So okay. So we got our 3 chains, same length out. Got our smaller hooks. The best way, and of course this isn't the only way that you can do this, but the best way I found, and how I on these bigger hooks, how I opened them is I just grabbed it and then just rotated it toward myself to separate it, just so you have some type of separation instead of trying to pull it apart or anything. I figured this was like the easiest thing to do. Okay. So now what you want to do is grab one of your bigger hooks and then just grab one of your chains and hook it in. Doesn't really matter if it's straight or not for right now, but just want to hook it in. And then what you want to do is you're going to put it on every other, since you have 3 hooks that you're going to hook this to, you want to do either every other hole here that you want to put this onto. So once you put it on, then go ahead and close the hook so it doesn't come off. Then go ahead and close, rotate the one side back to where it closes up, where it's not going to come loose or anything or fall out. And then you got the one dangly hook right there. Okay. And so now you want to do the other 2 on right here and then right here. So you want to do every other hole to attach it to give you like the 3-sided hooks hooked together. Okay. And then what you want to do is Just lay them out and make sure that the chain is over the whole opening and not off to the side like this one is here. And I'll move it over to make sure they're all facing straight up. Okay. So now what we're going to be doing is grabbing another big loop. And now we're going to connect or hook all of the chains. So just start with one and just put it into the hook for now. And then we'll see if it's straight or not. And when you pull it up, you can see, you can see that it's really not straight. I can see it's a little crooked. So what you want to do first, and you can only do this on this first one, is just rotate it around until it's straight. Because what you want it to be is a straight chain that's hooked to that. So on this first one is the only time that you'll be able to rotate the base to get it to be straight. Because these next ones you're not going to be able to do that with. So okay, so when you get that one, then grab your next one and then put that in there. Okay. Now you want to see, look at that chain to see if it's straight or not. Which you probably can't see it, but I can see it. It turns a little. Try to get it and then clip it from the other side, just like turn it. And see how the chain looks doing it that way, which it's easy to get it twisted and everything. So now if you look at it, it looks somewhat straight, which I'm okay with. And now we're going to hook the third one on. Okay. And then actually, I think we got lucky on that one. It actually looks pretty good. Okay. So right here, you can see the chains for each of the, or the links for each of the chains coming down, you know, is pretty straight. It's not twisted, not turned, you know, it doesn't have any kinks in it, you know, or anything like that. It's just nice and straight, which is what you want. Once you have all these in, then what you can do is go ahead and close this up. So that links will come out. And then you want to grab another bigger loop and put that in, like so. I'm actually going to use my LED that's hanging over my book nook. Hanging it like this, I think, is a little better. That way you can kind of see how the stones will go in here instead of laying it on a flat surface and the chain and the chains, you know, potentially, you know, being in the way or anything. If you can find something to hang the chandelier from, then you can use that to, you know, just to glue the stones into that. Is to put 3 or 4 of these yellow stones in there. And I mean, they give you a different variety of each one. So just find one that you know want to put in there, and just add some glue to the bottom of it, and then just slide it onto the brazier or to the chandelier here. And if it's sticking up a little bit, that's totally fine. You can put it in there however you want to put it in there. Just getting some kitty here. But it just says to make sure that you don't try to glue, you know, the stones to the chains or the hooks or anything like that. And I'm just kind of rotating this around. So this one's definitely going to look a little different than the other one over there. They definitely can. So just kind of do that, and then if you want, you can get a couple of the smaller ones and place them on top of these. Okay. Okay. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm not gonna, again, not gonna put too much on it, but since they decided to give you, tons of extra diamonds to use or whatever, then you try to use what I can. So that's how you put that together. So we got our pieces out, and I wanted to just show you how to make the longer lengths for each of the braziers or chandeliers, whatever. So the longer chain, just measured out where it's equidistant on either side, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just cut this in the middle, and I'm not worried about if one's going to be a little longer than the other. It's just as long as they're somewhat close, because in the end, what they're going to be used for, it doesn't matter if they're exactly the same or not. Your F9, you want the non-decorative side, and you want to grab your F4 right here, and I'm going to put this in. So just push those down, make sure it's solid all the way. So you're going to grab your one chandelier. I'm going to open it up a little, not too much. And then I'm going to grab the one long chain, and then try to hook it. Okay, so once you get the chain in, then go ahead and close this up to ensure nothing gets away. Okay, so then that's how it should look with your longer chain. And then what we're going to do is okay, so you want to go through this hole right here with your chain. Just drop it in, and then you want to pull it up, and it talks about pull the chain up through the hole, and it says to wrap it around this back pole a few times to lock it in to where the chain just kind of hangs out like that so it doesn't move. And then we're going to adjust the distance a little bit later, but it's just wanting you to hook it in now, just to have something in there. So there's your two braziers. I just made them the same length for now until we figure out exactly what length they need to be. Okay, and just like we had done before, and this is going to be a little difficult because you don't have a lot of play with this. So if you need to push these, put these inside of here and just let it set, just so you can work with the LEDs, that's totally fine. I put the braziers inside right here just so I can set this on here to be able to work with the LEDs. So what you want to do is make sure your LEDs are flipped down, just like we've done with the other ones. And then line up the holes as best you can and grab your F5. And hopefully try to get this in without damaging anything. So once you have your LEDs in here, then you want to lower this down and slide it where it fits over the two holes that are right there. If you want to push that wire back in, you can. Okay, so then once that's in there, then you want to put in your F10, which is going to go right here, because you don't really have nothing else really to push against. So I will just call it good like that. So now, since we got our braziers, chandeliers, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call them, since those are in there, and you've got everything else connected, the last couple steps are putting in the mirrors, and there's 3 of them. There's a double-sided mirror, a two-way semi-transparent mirror, and a high-definition clear panel. Now they're all numbered on the front here. They all are numbered, and they actually give the same directions here that they do in the instruction book. So, and you have to go in order to put these in. So the first one is a double-sided mirror, which is this one. And on this one, it's got film on both sides, but they only want you to remove the blue, which it says here is remove the blue film, and place this side towards the bookshelf. So you want to, when you put it in, you pretty much want it facing forward is what they mean. And this back part, you don't want to tear off the film, you just want to leave it, and it'll just be facing the back of the book nook. Okay, so we're going to tear this off, and again, I would try to make sure not to put any fingerprints on it or anything. And then we're going to insert this in here, and it's going to slide all the way down. And if it happens to get stuck, oh, there it goes. You want to make sure that it goes all the way down, and you can push that in. There's a slot. There's a slot in the back right here that you want to make sure that mirror goes into, that is locked in. Oh, I'm sorry, all the way back here. And it, yeah, it looks like it's in there all the way. So you just want to make sure that slides in all the way to fit in that slot in the back. Okay, is the two-way semi-transparent mirror, and then want you to remove the blue and the film on the other side, and then the blue, actually it doesn't really say, but I'm guessing the blue is facing forward, and then that's also going to go, it's going to go into here, and there's a slot in the floor that's going to go into, and that's where I was kind of pointing earlier before, was it's going to pretty much go into this slot that's like right here. So, Bill. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that went in. So that is in there. Is your clear, kind of looks like a dust cover. So this one you want to peel it off on both sides. Now this one they want you to put like at an angle, kind of like this, that goes down like this. That kind of angles it in the opening of the top, and again you have the gap in the floor, that it's going to connect to, and you want to make sure that it goes into those openings. Now it says, I can't tell. Now it says that you can activate the flame effect to adjust the braziers to make them match where they're supposed to go. And they didn't talk about this in the instructions except for like the very beginning. But if you go to the back, we had our battery pack that came with it. And what I did was, if you open this up, your white box here, it requires 4 AA's. And then you hook your USB that you put in there earlier, you hook that up to it. And then you go ahead and turn it on. And then you just kind of slide it in there and then close this in here. It doesn't really tell you to do that in the instructions. And they talk about this mode switch in the back, that one way is the touch sensor and the other way is voice activation and motion. And it doesn't really say like which one's which, so you need to figure it out yourself on which one works. So I'm going to leave it to the right, and I'm going to turn this on and see what happens and see if this is the touch mode, because up here is your power right here, and then that is to adjust brightness and volume and everything. So I'm going to hit this and see what happens. Okay, so that's the touch. So this is in touch mode. So now if you hit it once, the lights will come on. If you hit it twice, the flame and everything will come on, and the sound, which I hear. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to show you. So, and you can see us there in the thing. So now this is what they're saying. Like when you're looking at it, they want you to raise. Get up to the side here so you can kind of see. They want you to raise the braziers to where they're lit right on top of the fire. And that's the only thing that's bad is you can't really go in there to stop that from shaking. But all you do is that is pretty cool. So as you can see right now, just kind of looking at it, it's not really centered. So we got to raise it up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pull this and raise it up until it's level with the fire. And then I'm going to wrap the rest of it around, and then I'm going to do that for the other one. So doing that, now we can look and see that the fire is kind of right on top now of the braziers. So it kind of makes them look like they're lit and everything. So that's kind of cool. And then if we hit the power button again, it turns it off. So that's pretty cool. All right. So now we are going to finish this. Okay, so you're going to grab your J9 and your D2, which is your pretty much your top pieces that we're going to put on top of this right here. And you're also going to grab an F6, which is this little arch piece that you need to glue on to the top of this right here, which I already did. So glue that on, and then pushing it down to make sure it doesn't pop up anything, which I think it just did. Okay. And I'm going to push this all the way back. Okay. Just kind of locking everything in. And then get your front piece. And that'll go right into here. And just make sure it's all lined up. And there you go. So I got everything situated, got everything together. So now we are going to go over our review and see how this works. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is our final review of the Dolphin Island Magicspell library. So this one really didn't have a lot of parts and pieces to it, but it does have a couple different effects that I haven't seen in any other book nooks. And building wise, it wasn't too difficult. There were just a couple couple steps that were a little challenging to ensure they were correct and all that. But this definitely comes with a lot of electronics that you need to ensure, are where they need to be to ensure all of this works. So first, we're just going to take a look at the outside. So there's no windows to this at all. You got your solid sides. You got your back, and then this is where you get your battery, and this is also has your toggle mode to go back and forth, which we go over here in a little bit. As your other side, the top is kind of plain, but again, we'll get to this over here in a second. And then here's your front. So, and then you open the doors. Don't really see much inside. Kind of see a mirror-like effect, whatever. So, in touch mode, up here at the top, so this is your power button, and this is your volume and light sensitivity to raise it or lower it when it comes on. So in touch, and on the back, the sensor or the toggle switch, it doesn't specify what's what. So you kind of have to figure out which mode's on which side. So I left it where it was, when I got it. So it's on the right side. So this is actually for me in touch mode. So I don't know if all of them are going to be like that, or they're going to be different. But okay, so decided to move this a little lower, give you a better idea of what everything looks like. So for the touch feature, as we're going through this, I'm just going to hit the button once, and you see the lights. Now you can't really see how especially with somebody walking in front of it. You can't really see like the infinity mirror and how it works, how it looks and everything. So I'm going to turn the light off so you can see how that looks. So then if you look down there, it looks like it's an infinite row of books and shelves and everything. So which looks kind of cool. So, and I'll do the rest of this in the dark so you can kind of see it all. So hitting it once turns the light on when it's in the touch sensor, touch mode. You hit it twice, and there's your flame and the sound that comes through. And I'll move the mic a little closer to the, just kind of hear like a flame going and everything. Somebody's want to peek in. So, but that's how the touch part of it works. And then of course, hitting it the third time turns everything off. Okay. So now with the sensor, okay, so now moving the toggle switch, I'm just going to grab the wand here, moving the toggle switch to motion. It says when you do that, just give it a couple seconds for it to reset. And if it senses any type of movement, the motion sensor will turn the light on. And it looks like I didn't have to be that far away. I'm about maybe 3-4 feet from it, and the light comes on. And that's the motion sensor. That's really the only thing that it does. Okay, so certain words will get the flame to come out. It gives you like 2 or 3 to say, but I think I've just been talking around it, and the flames have come on for certain other words. So it just depends. I think it's a little too sensitive, maybe. I don't know. Extinguish. So, but but yeah. So again, like I was saying, the motion sensor, it just see. So sensor is the word. It turns a light on. The motion sensor just turns the light on. It gives you a wand, but you don't have to wave the wand in front of the sensor or anything like that. The sensor just turns the lights on. That's it. It doesn't turn the flames on or anything else. It's the voice activation that turns the flames on and off. Extinguish. And the mic is right up here above the power button. Right in between the power button and the volume and the brightness for the graphics. So and again, it gives you a couple words to use. So one's either incendia, or it says in the instructions it says eternal frame, but I think it means flame. So I'm going to try to see if those work. Incendia. So that works for that one. And to turn the flames off, you do extinguish. Oh. Extinguish. There we go. And they say sometimes if the flame, I said flames, sometimes they say if the sound is too loud, that you almost have to be right on top of the mic to get it to turn off. So that's why you adjust the volume of the sound down a little bit, and then you don't have to be as close. But yeah. So, and again, I think to turn it on, I think it just depends. But you can always use the wand and say the word and flick it. Flick the wand. And pretend like you're using the wand to make the flames come back or whatever. Extinguish. So I'm going to try these other words again. Incendia. Okay, so it worked that time. So I think it just how you pronunciate it, how you pronounce it, or again, I think there's other words that'll get it to come on. Or if you just say flame, you don't have to say eternal flame. You just say flame, and it comes on and everything. So, but I mean, this was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, it's something different than other book nooks, and another little aesthetic, that you can have into it. It just works better if you don't have a light source behind you, because the mirrors reflect all that light into it, so you can't see the infinity hallway and books and all that. So, but yeah, I mean, again, not a lot of parts and pieces, but this was pretty cool. And so, and again, this was a request that I do this. So if you have any more requests, please send them my way. I'll try to get it added to my list and build it for you, just so you can see how to put it together. So, but with that, appreciate everyone watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next episode.